So you got deployed to Afghanistan in what year?
2011.
So in 2011, you're in Afghanistan.
Correct.
How long were you there?
I had a short stay. I was in country for about 4 months.
Tell me what exactly happened during the 4 months you were there.
I conducted a lot of operations. Did pretty much everything. I was in the infantry company. And on April 4th, 2012, we were on a foot patrol in the market, and we encountered a 12-year-old suicide bomber.
A suicide bomber, 12 years old. How was he armed? Tell me exactly what explosives.
From my understanding, he had 20 hand grenades linked together with covered in sheets of ball bearings.
Did you see this individual yourself?
I did. It was still cold out. They're dressed pretty heavy clothing, a lot of like wool overgarments, so they couldn't really see anything protruding from it. He actually walked right by me.
When the explosion happened, do you remember anything at that point?
I do. I pretty much remember almost in its entirety.
The explosion happened, you found yourself on the ground, no doubt.
Yeah, it was the best way I could relate it. It was almost like, you know, when you're watching Saving Private Ryan, and at the end where everybody's on the bridge and it gets shell shocked and everything's just kind of muffled and you know everything that's going on, but it takes, you know, a couple seconds to really set in what happened. I remember first trying to stand up, and my leg buckled, and I looked down, and my leg was covered in blood. I knew my leg was broken. Then I went to post up with my right arm, and my arm was backwards. And at that point, I knew it was pretty serious.
You sustained other injuries, hearing damage?
Hearing damage, traumatic brain injury, a lot of shrapnel wounds, broken bones. Pretty much everything on my right side was injured.
There's a number of casualties.
Unfortunately, there were 3 KIA and 8 wounded.
From there, you're left to pick up the pieces.
From that point, being that everyone that was with us at that time was either KIA or wounded, you know, we were kind of in a moment of disarray. I remember putting tourniquets on myself and my medic helping me put a tourniquet on another sergeant that was next to me. And then at that point, 3 of us were actually taken by 3 Afghan policemen who had run from down the road. They were trying to help us. They ended up taking us to an Afghan clinic. So we were stranded for about 20 minutes from the rest of our unit.
And you're aware of all of this happening around you?
Yes, unfortunately, I only lost consciousness for about maybe 15, 30 seconds.
And you say unfortunately, with good reason.
Yeah, it's you know, it's not the easiest thing to talk about, but I've come to terms with what happened.
I want you to know, absolutely. I want you to know I would never sit down here and put Alex through this. I talked to him and I said, Alex, how do you want to do this? And he said, let's talk about it. So one more time for Alex having the ability to be able to do this. So from there, you recouped in a hospital.
I did. I was fortunate enough that we made our way to our medevac site, again, by the help of some Afghans who did want to help us, and a cell phone, believe it or not, that we had purchased for $20 that beamed off on a satellite somewhere in outer space and actually could make a phone call, and called someone at our medevac site, which was a coalition base, and they were able to get us there. From there, there was a series of medevacs, and ended up at Walter Reed. My wife was there before I even got there. I had a 6-month-old baby at the time, who I had met for 1 week during my train-up, and shortly after she met us down there as well. Spent about 7 months at Walter Reed. Supposed to be there for about a year, but we were lucky enough with a lot of assistance and a lot of really good medical professionals there to make it through in a shorter time. And I spent about another 7 months recovering while stateside, or while in Cleveland.
You made it home. You came home, and again, picking up the pieces, trying your best to piece them all back together again. Alex, you and your wife decided to buy a house?
We did. I had, luckily enough, I still had a job. I'd been hired as a police officer before I deployed, and they held my job all through my rehab and my deployment. So we decided this time that we'd buy a house. We knew we'd be able to return to work. We'd be able to afford our bills, and so we purchased a home in Olmsted Township.
This is good news, right? You're back on your feet. You're starting a new life, so to speak. A brand new life with a new wife, so to speak. You're all new baby. Tell me that.
Yeah, we're really excited. Bought a little ranch in Olmsted Township, and went through the whole process of a loan and 500 signatures.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it was a really good time. I don't want to do it again. I felt like I was joining the Army all over again. And, went through the procedures, and we moved in on November 9th of 2012.
So just a few years back. Well, 1.5 years or so, maybe so. Not bad. You move in, and what happens?
We were, I think we had the keys for maybe about an hour and a half. My wife was playing with my daughter, who was crawling in what was to be her bedroom, and she came outside. I was moving boxes and said, I think I see a spot along the molding. I said, okay. I went in and looked, and it looked like a spot of mold. Shortly thereafter, we began to investigate a little more. Pulled open, a bathroom cabinet. There was mold in that. Long story short, within a few short weeks, we found the whole house had mold.
When you say whole house, you're not talking about the walls, you're talking about the structure itself.
Yeah, inside the walls, on every wall.
The money you put into all of this, you're still at this point. So what happened to the house?
We couldn't live in it. We never even moved in. We pretty much took everything that we had put in at that point, put it back on a truck, and took it back to where we were living. At that point, we were staying with my in-laws, who were moving somewhere else.
Again, isn't that fun?
Great. Within this whirlwind, we weren't sure what would happen with the house. So we did our best to repair that with what we had available to us, while concurrently living with my in-laws.
So, what was finally decided on the house?
We got to the point after a lot of work, a lot of very kind people trying to help us, a lot of effort on many people's parts, that it was going to be more affordable to demolish the house versus rebuilding it or repairing it.
Is the house demolished right now?
It currently is.
Completely wiped out?
Gone.
You're still paying on a mortgage of that demolished house?
Correct.
So you're paying for a house that's no longer there?
Correct.
Now somewhere the term NEOPAT comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. The way NEOPAT got involved with my family is they contacted us. Through our pastor at our church, Regina Brett ran an article in the Plain Dealer. From that article, a lot of people reached out to us. One of them was NEOPAT, and they asked what our living situation was. At the time, we were not sure. We were pretty close to the point of, turning in the keys and saying, we can't do it, because we were going to have to afford to pay rent and live somewhere. NEOPAT came in, and Mike Swallow, and said, well, how can we help you? What's your biggest need? And through conversations with them, we figured out that that was a place to live. And thanks to NEOPAT, they got us a new apartment in North Olmsted, and pretty much lifted us off the ground and told us, we're here, we're going to figure out how to do this, how to make this work, and we're going to put you up in a place to live while we do that.
Alex, thanks so much for sharing and bringing this up to date. Is there any possibility that your in-laws could move in with you in this apartment?
I mean, free daycare is great. I just really want to say, to everyone in attendance, my family and I, we appreciate this more than words can express. It's very humbling, it's very hard to go through this, to come to terms with acceptance of help. But it's literally saved our lives. NEOPAT was there from day one. They've raised us from the ground up, and we're hopefully March 24th this month. We're going to be breaking ground and building a new house. Thanks to them and a lot of very good people.
I think it's very important too. Mallory, can you stand up real quick one more time? I think it's important that when you do break ground, that you make sure you have enough room, correct?
It's gonna be plenty of room.
Because
there's another baby growing inside my wife right now.
When NEOPAT started putting out a new edition, they didn't know that was going to be the edition. How about that?
Yeah, I didn't think they bargained for that.
Give it up for Alex, everybody. Alex and Mallory Haworth. Thank you so much.
Alex and Mallory, it is our honor for you to be here with us tonight, and in recognition of everything you've been through, and on behalf of everyone here and who has supported NEOPAT, we would like to present you with a check for $20,000 that will go to the rebuilding of your house. And we're pretty confident that everyone here would be in support of this. And so thank you again for being with us and for everything you do. Thank you.
Again, Sergeant Everett Alex Haworth, his wife Mallory. Congratulations.